Guys. This is Carrie with Fullerton Professional Organizing, and we are here today to talk about meal planning again because I'm always studying other people's ways of simplifying meal planning. So, meal planning without the overwhelm, a real life guide that actually works. Now, hopefully, some of these ideas, not all of them, are going to work for you, but hopefully, I can give you some ideas and they will help you like they've helped me. Okay, so let's just be honest. Meal planning gets a bad rap because I've tried lots of ways to meal plan and none of them worked for me. So I had to come up with my own system, which I have talked about before. But these are some of the people I love that I got a few ideas from that really did help me. It it sounds like something you need a color-coded worksheet, a week's worth of free time, and a culinary degree to pull off. That's not for me. But in real life, meal planning is less about those Pinterest-worthy menu boards and more about saving your brain from exploding the same decision, making that same decision over and over again. What's for dinner? What's for dinner? I still hate it when I'm asked that because I want to make what I want to make. Anyway, if your evenings look like a fridge stare down followed by a last minute drive-through run, you're not failing. You just don't have a system that fits your life. The good news is we've got four women that we've been studying: Kendra Adachi, Cassandra Aarssen, Dana K. White, and Dawn from Minimal Mom. That's at the beginning of this meal planning, and then we're going to tackle a few others at the end. So, they have simple, doable approaches that make meal planning less stressful and way more practical. All right, now here's how we're going to tackle it and how they get this how they get this under control. Okay, one, start with your why. It's not about the perfect dinner. Before we talk grocery lists or cute chalkboards, let's name the real reason meal planning matters. All right. Kendra Adachi take, name what matters. Meal planning isn't about making every dinner magical. It's about giving you and your family peace and predictability. If family dinner without stress matters to you, your plan should reflect that. Okay? Not every single person is going to love what you make for dinner, as you're going to make it likable for everyone, but not everyone's going to just love it and be super excited. Cassandra Aarsen's view: without a system, mealtime chaos spreads into the whole evening. Kids get cranky, you're stressed, and dishes pile up. A plan isn't just restrictive. It really is freeing. Now, Dana Gresh: honesty. A plan keeps you from panicking at 5 p.m. and throwing money and calories at the drive-through. It's about survival, not gourmet cooking. Okay. Dawn from Minimal Mom: meal planning clears mental clutter. Too many choices equals decision fatigue. Fewer, simpler meals. Sorry, I keep shaking the desk and the camera. Make life easier and calmer. Now, the bottom line is a plan isn't about perfection, it's about margin, breathing room, and not losing your cool over spaghetti noodles. All right, number two, keep it stupid simple. Seriously, one of the biggest meal planning mistakes is overcomplicating it. That's why I couldn't do it. Okay, you had to take out a notebook, you had to write a lot of stuff or type a lot of stuff. Kendra says, pick your magic meals. I picked a whole month of magic meals. The ones everyone eats without complaint that takes a few seconds to throw together, not really, and put them on repeat. Theme nights. I have taco night, breakfast for dinner Thursday. Now, have theme nights. That helps. Cassandra, know your organizing style and plan around it. If you're a visual thinker, keep a big magnetic board with 5 to 6 go-to dinners. You rotate. If you're more of a macro organizer, a running list on your phone works just fine. Now, some people use Alexa, but I don't know. And I just woke her. Sure how to help you with that. And I just woke her up by accident. Dana says, if you struggle to stay consistent, start embarrassingly small. Plan 3 dinners for the week, not 7. A small plan beats no plan at all. Now, Dawn from Minimal Mom, narrow your options. You don't need 40 dinner ideas, just a handful your family loves. Less variety equals fewer groceries, less stress, and less waste. Meal planning shouldn't feel like solving a Rubik's Cube. It's just pre-deciding a few dinners so you're not reinventing the wheel every night. Now, number 3, shop your house first, or you're going to have that overstuffed pantry. You're going to have that overstuffed freezer. You're going to have stuff in the refrigerator go bad. Okay? Before you ever write a grocery list, check what you already have. Dana's rule, declutter your pantry, fridge, and freezer first. A meal plan isn't helpful if you can't find the ingredients hidden in your own kitchen. Now, I'm going to help you out a little bit. I have raw chicken at the top of my freezer in the garage. That's my overstock. I have beef, pork in the middle. Then on the next shelf, I have some pre-cooked items. I forgot what's on this side, trying to do it from memory. But then I have veggies and frozen fish or frozen from the grocery store items. So technically the bottom is all grocery store because your vegetables are grocery store frozen vegetables. Or if if you have a garden, it'll be your garden vegetables. And then my frozen packaged fish and maybe some frozen, anything frozen that you bought from the grocery store is on that. Now, on the very, very bottom, there's a basket. There's a basket in the very bottom of my freezer. Now, that is my son's food since he lives with us. He keeps his frozen stuff. And then I have some overstock of frozen veggies and frozen stuff in the bottom. That's just overstock on the bottom. Now, included in my chicken, I only buy chicken thighs, chicken tenders, and I'm not talking about the free. We're just talking about the raw chicken thighs, raw chicken tenders. I never buy chicken breasts. I always buy tenders because they're already cut up and they cook a lot better and faster. And I have frozen chicken wings. And I may have bought some rotisserie chicken that's already cooked chicken, and I have that pre-proportioned out, and that's what I have. Okay. Now in the meat section, it could be it's my pre-cooked ground beef, and I pre-cook it with all the seasonings, and I even add spinach into my ground beef just to have a little healthier uh, ground beef in there. Um, when my husband barbecues, he barbecues extra and he doesn't overcook it. Therefore, I cut it up into portions and we eat that on weekends, whether he barbecues or not. But we will have fajita so that we can have our Taco Tuesdays with fajita. We have the ground beef, so I can mix in some seasonings and have ground beef tacos or whatever. All of that's in that middle section: beef, pork, link sausages. If my husband does not barbecue and doesn't feel like it, and we don't want to eat something that he's already barbecued, we throw in some link sausages, and that is our Sunday. All right. Oh, and chuck roast. It can be chuck roast in the crock pot, or it'll be chuck roast that my husband barbecued just like he does a brisket. It's a less expensive meat and it is delicious cooked like brisket, barbecued like brisket. All right. And then any pre-cooked meals that I've proportioned out, because there's only 3 of us and only 2 of us eat my meals. So really it's just my husband and I that eat my meals. My son eats his own. So I proportion it out and put it in baggies so that when I don't want to cook, which is usually on a Wednesday or a Friday or the weekend, but it's a good home cooked meal, I pull out a pre-planned meal out of the freezer. It sometimes pasta, sometimes it is beef stroganoff. But anyway, and then my veggies are proportioned out at the bottom. So now let me continue here. I don't know where I left off in my notes, so I'm just going to go ahead and continue here. Dana's rule: declutter your pantry, fridge, freezer. I think we already talked about that. Dawn's approach: work with what's on hand before buying more. A simple use it up list on the fridge saves money and keeps food from going bad. Cassandra, she says store food so you can actually see it. If you don't know you have the chicken, you'll buy more chicken. That's why I have mine organized the way I do, and I do not buy more chicken until I have used up the chicken. Um, hmm. Oh, and also my cheese. I buy big bulky cheese in bulk, divide it by 4. And when I finally hit the grocery store package, then I know I need more cheese. Kendra, think of your kitchen like a toolbox. Use what's already in it before you shop for new tools. You're not starting from zero. You're just creating a plan that uses the stuff you've already spent money on, the stuff you already have in your freezer, refrigerator, pantry. Number 4, write it down, but don't overcommit. This part is key. Meal planning is flexible, not a contract signed in blood. Kendra says give meals a home on the calendar, but let them swap places if life changes. The plan works for you, not the other way around. If I can't be there on Taco Tuesday, I make Taco Tuesday on Wednesday. Okay? Dana says a sticky note or a scrap of paper works just as well as a fancy planner. Overcomplicated systems are hard to maintain. Now, Dawn, keep it visible, whether it's a chalkboard, whiteboard, or just a note on the fridge. It's not in front of you. You'll forget it. I have mine, a whole calendar on the fridge. Cassandra, make it fun. She says color-coded magnets, a meal jar. You can pull ideas from whatever keeps you engaged and consistent. Remember, planned doesn't mean locked in stone. It's more like a friendly suggestion to your future self. Now, 5, build a no-brainer meal list. Now, my whole calendar is a no-brainer meal list. This is the secret sauce to stress-free meal planning. Dawn, limit choices to meals you know are fast, easy, and loved. That's mine. If you've got 10 to 15 dinners you can cook on autopilot, you'll never really run out of ideas. True. Kendra, call these your magic meals, the ones that save your sanity every time. Post the list somewhere visible for brainless planning. And because of the things I have in my freezer, I never don't have the ingredients. I almost always have the ingredients, the meat at least. Dana, keep ingredients for these on hand as much as possible. No mental gymnastics required. Cassandra, bonus points if you pre-prep or freeze some of these ahead of time for emergency nights. When you've got your no-brainer list, you're basically meal planning on easy mode every week. Why it's worth it. Meal planning saves more than just time. It saves your food from sitting in the refrigerator and rotting. Your fresh vegetables, once you've seen them in the refrigerator a day or two, chop them up and put them in the freezer so they don't go bad. It saves you mental energy, money, and stress. It keeps your evenings from unraveling and gives you more room for what actually matters to you and your family. Connecting with your family instead of scrambling over dinner. Now, all 4 experts agree this is one of the most home life, this is the most, this has the most ripple effects that touch everything, your mood, your budget, even your family culture. Now, you don't need a binder full of printables or a meal plan that looks good on Pinterest. We've said that a million times. You just need a system that feels like it was made for your real life and your family, you and your family. A handful of go-to meals, a quick look at what you've already got, and a simple plan you can actually stick to. As Dana would say, something is better than nothing. Start with one step. Plan tomorrow's dinner today and build from there. Your future self will thank you when 5 p.m. rolls around and dinner is already decided. Now, we are going to tackle a few other people that have some helpful ideas on meal planning. And number 1 is, let's see, Julie's minimalist meal planning approach. Julie, minimalist family life, keeps it simple. I found these on YouTube. I'm not as familiar with these people or these YouTubers. So I'm going to give you the information anyway because it's helpful. 1 15-minute planning session a week with a reusable meal template. Themes instead of rigid recipes. I agree. Taco Tuesday, Soup Saturday, leftover Mondays. I don't know. A small rotating list of family favorite meals to prevent decision fatigue. All the ladies that we just mentioned believe the same thing. Her tip, don't try to reinvent the wheel every week. Stick to a handful of go-to meals and just shuffle them around. All right, so she feels the same way as the ladies I just mentioned. Number 2 is the 15-minute meal plan system. This method gets rid of overthinking by giving you 4 quick steps. 1, check your schedule, especially if you have kids. I no longer have kids, but if you have, I have grown kids. You have little ones, busy days equals slow cooker or leftovers. Remember, if you have baseball, whatever after school activities you have with your kids. 2, choose your meal themes for the week. 3, list what you already have on hand. 4, fill in the gaps with easy recipes and a short grocery list. Now, I do it the other way around. I have all easy, short, super easy recipes. And then when I feel like it and have time, then I'll go further with a recipe that I want to try. I never do it the other way around. This system shines for people who don't want meal planning to feel like a full-time job or a job ever. Now, this person, number 3, is Kim McCoskers. McCoskers. Maybe some of you know her. 4 ingredients philosophy. Kim's cookbooks are bestsellers for a reason. Every dish has just 4 ingredients or fewer. It has short shopping lists, fast prep and cleanup, meals the whole family eats without fuss, and her motto is, it doesn't have to be fancy, just delicious and doable. The ladies that I mentioned above feel the same way. Number 4, Tony. Oh man, some of these names I have never heard of before. Maybe you have. Tony Okamoto's, budget-friendly, plant-based meals. Tony focuses on affordable, simple plant-based recipes that are freezer-friendly and often made in one pot. Uses basic pantry staples to keep costs low. Big batch cooking. I love big batch cooking. So you can plan once and eat multiple times. That's where I freeze it, put it in baggies, and it's ready to go for when I don't even want to cook on a Friday, possibly, or Saturday or Sunday. Flexible meal templates like grain plus beans plus veggie plus sauce equals a veggie plant-based meal. Even if you're not fully plant-based, Tony's strategies are gold for adding easy, low-cost meals to your rotation. Maybe you have a plant-based veggie day. 5, Josh Cordes, downshiftology and pick up limes, practical meal prep pros. These YouTubers nail no nonsense prep. Cook protein, grains, and veggies in bulk once or twice a week. Now, I do that. Now, my husband's diabetic, and we learned that if you cook pasta and freeze it and reheat it, it does not spike his sugar. Now, it could work differently for each person diabetic, but that works for my husband. We also discovered rice. If we pre-cook it, freeze it. Therefore, I cook those in bulk. I But here's one of the tricks. It's not just eating as much pasta as you want or as much rice as you want. And we're good with that because we went from being able to eat zero because of diabetes to how much rice is one serving. So I store my pasta and my rice in two serving baggies. One serving for me, one serving for my husband. But here's what usually happens. Even though I've proportioned it out, only one serving for me and one serving for him, usually I'm putting it in a meal that feeds four. So we're getting just even less than one serving of rice and less of one serving of pasta. We get just enough to get a taste of the pasta and the rice so that we don't miss it. And I do mix in some riced cauliflower to make it a little more filling without only eating the cauliflower in place of the pasta. Another one you can fill in with is cabbage. Cabbage works good with the creamier sauces and the cauliflower with more of the red sauces in place of pasta. So he says, cook protein, grains, and veggies in bulk once a week or twice a week. That way your veggies are pre-cooked with your onions and bacon, and it just makes it simple. Mix and match components into different meals so nothing feels repetitive. Store everything in grab and go containers to make weekday lunches also a breeze. Now, Josh Cortis in particular keeps things flavorful and realistic with no perfect Pinterest meals, just solid, tasty options. Now, even if I don't pre-cook my veggies, I will freeze them and they cook so much faster because when they defrost, they tend to be softer. Bringing it all together, the simplified meal plan. Here's how you can combine all of these last people that I don't know, I'm not as familiar with. Sorry, guys. Strategies into 1 week plan that doesn't overcomplicate your life. Day theme meal idea prep tip. Monday, pasta night. 4-ingredient creamy chicken pasta. Cook chicken and pasta ahead and reheat and toss. Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Ground beef or black bean tacos with fresh toppings, chopped veggies, and make sauce. Sunday night. Make the sauce Sunday night. Wednesday sheet pan meal. Bake salmon and potatoes with green beans. Prep sheet pan in the morning. Bake at dinner time. Thursday, the plant-based bowl. Brown rice, roasted chickpeas, vegetables, tahini, batch cook rice, and chickpeas on Monday. Friday, leftovers and wraps. Use up proteins and veggies in tortilla wraps. Lay out. Build your own wrap bar. Saturday family favorite homemade pizza with simple toppings. Use store-bought dough for no stress dinner, or use a low carb flour tortilla. That's what we do. We use low carb flour tortillas, so we get a taste of bread. Sunday slow cooker comfort, 4-ingredient pot roast with carrots, potatoes. Toss everything in a crock pot in the morning. Now, pro tip, batch cook your grains. proteins, and sauces once or twice a week. Store them separately so you can quickly assemble different meals without feeling like you're eating the same thing every day. Ground beef is cooked. Maybe some rotisserie chicken is cooked. Um, that way you can cook some chicken thighs in the air fryer, have some pre-cooked options. The bottom line is meal planning doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to work for your schedule, your family, and your energy level. By combining Julie's weekly template, the 15-minute plan, Kim's 4 ingredient rule, Tony's budget-friendly plant-based meals, and I love Josh's no fuss prep by pre-cooking everything. You'll have a simple, repeatable system that saves time, cuts costs, and keeps dinner time stress off the table. Guys, now that I have an easy breezy meal plan and I have my freezer set up the way I explained, I no longer waste food. Used to, I would have meat rot in the refrigerator because I left it too long, um, without cooking it. Now everything gets divided by two. And if you have a family of 4 or 5 or 6, divide it by however many family members, how much you think they'll eat. And then there's also no overeating because you're not going to have like so much cooked that everybody overeats it unless you cook something like a soup or a casserole, where you're going to divide that up to eat later and freeze and eat later. So these are some great ideas. And I'm going to do one more session on meal planning and after this video, and I hope you are really picking up some ideas that will really help you. All right, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.